Welcome back to Edmodo. Now that we have logged in, it's time to have some fun. Let's talk about the different assignments that you can create with Edmodo and the apps that you can launch. If you want to begin an assignment, you can click on a particular class, and you'll see that you have options for a note, alert, assignment, quiz, poll, and snapshot, which is an app. A note is simply that. It's a note that you can type or deploy to your students, and you can attach resources, such as a file from your computer. It could be like a Word doc, a PowerPoint, an image. You can attach a link to an outside document, whether it be a TED Ed video or a link to a website. Library. Library is where assignments that you have created in Edmodo are used previously in Edmodo are housed, but it's also where you can attach things from your Google Drive. Now you can attach from your Google Drive in two different ways. You could click on your library in Google Drive and then find your doc, or you could just simply go to Google Drive and find your document, make sure your share permissions are correct, and just attach the link. So I will just type something here and say I love Edmodo and attach something from my library very quickly. You can see how simple it is, and attach to post. I can schedule a time to deploy the message, so maybe I want it to go out tomorrow at 9 a.m. I can schedule it to go out then and say send. The difference between a note and an assignment is a note can be used to foster discussion in your classroom. You could have students watch a video and then reply and create a discussion thread. Those replies will be seen by all members of the class, whereas an assignment is created pretty much in the same pattern, except for students will only see what they submit, not what other students submit, and it will have a due date. So let's look at an assignment. I can create an assignment from scratch just by clicking in the assignment title box, or I can load a previously created assignment. In the interest of time, I'm going to do that. So I could say Gatsby quiz is due on the 18th, and a wonderful feature is I can lock this assignment after its due date. Once again, if I need to attach other resources, I can, and I can schedule the time that I want this to go out. So I'll say send at this point. Now you'll notice that the assignment Gatsby quiz is different from my note because it actually has turned in. And as my students submit this work in Edmodo, I can just click on the turned in button and it will show the members of my class. If he or she has turned in the assignment, their name will be bright. If it has not been turned in, it will be grayed out, and I can just click and actually grade the assignment from there and view it. So we'll go back and talk about some of the different options. You can also send an alert out to your class. An alert is very limited. You can't attach resources, but this would be something that you would use like projects are due tomorrow. And the great thing about alerts is if your students have set it up, they'll get a text from their cell phones to alert them. And you can also schedule an alert to go out at a certain time. Quizzes are a great feature in Edmodo. You can create self-grading quizzes in here, multiple choice, true, false, short answer, fill in the blank, and matching. As you create the quiz, it automatically saves. And when you're ready, you can put a time limit on the quiz, a title, and assign it. Perhaps it's a quiz that you've created previously. You can just load a previously created quiz. And at that point, you can decide the due date, and you can decide to add it to your Edmodo gradebook. Sorry, it does not add to Synergy at this time. However, the Edmodo gradebook is pretty handy, so I would always select that. And you can schedule a message. So maybe I don't want to create this quiz the night before and my students access it at home. You can go ahead and create it and then decide, I'm going to send this message out about the quiz to the kids at this day and this time, and they will not see that information until then. Polls are a pretty handy feature in Edmodo. You can quickly get formative assessment, give a formative assessment, or get quick feedback from your students, like what is your favorite color, etc. And you can keep adding answers. And as your students vote, then you'll see the progress in the form of a bar graph. Notice down here that anytime you create a note, an alert, an assignment, or a poll, you can choose which classes it goes to. So it's automatically going to select the class that you're in at that time, but simply by typing any letter in that box, you'll see your other classes pop up, and you can decide to deploy the assignments to all your groups or certain ones. So that's very handy, so you don't have to do the same work over and over again and be redundant. One thing that I would like to mention about assignments is, first of all, we talked about how you can access them from the Turned In button, but you can also click on the little lifeline or progress bar and see how your students are doing on certain things. And it will break down your students by assignments and their grades. And you could quickly export this into a spreadsheet that you could use for Synergy, or just copy the grades from here. Last but not least, I would like to talk about the apps that you can launch with Edmodo. To find apps, you click on the storefront. The wonderful thing about this is that any apps that you install in your classes automatically go to your students, and they're ready to use at any time. They don't have to have a different password. They don't have to go to a different website. So you can see that I have the No Red Ink app already installed. Let's go to one that maybe I don't have. Let's try AudioBoo. Now this is a paid app, but there are several free apps. We'll do Read With Me. You'll see that you click on the free button, and at that time you can choose to install your app in certain groups. And after you install an app, it's always there waiting for you to activate. This is my favorite part about Edmodo personally, and this is where the magic happens. After I install an app, I can just go to my apps launcher and see the different apps that I have installed and create assignments that, once again, are wonderful. We can go into more detail about these great apps that are very engaging for students, apps that test grammar, apps to promote active reading, you name it, you can probably find it up here, flashcards, etc. So I don't want to belabor this too much, but pretty much that is Edmodo. Very simple to use, very engaging. Please ask me if you have any more questions, and check it out.